We think we can access unlimited energy from space-based solar power, something that both Airbus and Caltech have now proven works, and the prototypes are now being built. So just imagine a clean, green, and increasingly inexpensive source of energy that can put power in any electricity grid anywhere in the world at any time. We think we'll have access to virtually unlimited world-class internet to envelop not just Earth, but Earth and the lunar surface, which means the value of every square inch on Earth will go up, because you'll be able to work from anywhere and you'll be able to track assets from anywhere, and you'll be able to understand what is happening to Earth as a whole with much greater precision. This is the beginning of being able to harvest everything we need to make an MRI scanner or an iPhone or a fighter jet without needing to dig Earth up anymore. Now, that is a revolution in and of itself. That leads to space-based manufacturing, refining in orbit, doing all kinds of things, including the production of silicon chips.
If we think about the operational front, for one, cost, quality, how do we find new suppliers? How do we manage export controls? More perhaps mundane processes around inventory optimization, inventory control, manufacturing processes, tensions between speed versus security, for example. Or one example that I really like around logistics and what we call less than truckload on Earth, or lighter than load for space, around how do we utilize the space inside the rockets. So the Falcon rockets is basically like a ride share. So you have Starlink taking up some of the space, but where there's excess space, SpaceX allow companies to piggyback and fill the available space. So we're able to send small satellites into space at a more marginal rate. Whether it's the UN or some other institution, I think having that architect, the master painter, the grand painter, who can lay out some of the rules of the game. So things like, if we look at the investment that's going to be required, the investment timelines for private equity firms like Sequoia and Future Fund, who are investing in this space already, are not going to match the return and the amount of time we need to see a return. So an institution that can support investment that reflects the probably multi-decade timeline that's going to be required, an institution that can help set the standards. So I said earlier about how we need to make space boring. Well, in order to do that, we need commonality, we need standardization.
Given there is abundance in space, and given that whichever superpower gets to it first is going to be so far ahead of everyone else, there may be no catch-up. What is the right thing for humanity to do? And I personally have argued that actually, whichever nation does get there first should think about the Marshall Plan and think about this idea that you're going to have to share these extraordinary abundant resources with all of humanity, rather than taking kind of the J.R.R. Tolkien Gollum approach, which is, I got there first, it's mine, all mine, nobody else's, which is almost guaranteed to give us conflict. And this idea of generosity against a backdrop of true abundance that could totally transform the Earth economy and lift every single human out of poverty. These are very profound philosophical questions that are at the core of geopolitics today.